I want to share this because this is such a predictable thing that happens when you make investments. And I was just having a conversation with a one-to-one client yesterday or 2 days ago who just recently invested in one-to-one with me. And she said, Jason, the day or two after I made this investment, I kind of freaked out. And like my ego was like, oh my God, I'm never going to be successful. And like all these stories and fear came up. And it was like this like survival instinct really kicked in for her in this moment. And I want to share this with you because this is a dynamic that I've seen happen so many times, both in the journey that I've walked with my clients, as well as in my own experience. I've invested over probably close to $300,000 into hiring mentors. And I laugh because it's like this moment is so predictable. Like right after you make a big investment, I always have this backlash from my ego, this backlash from the old self, the part of me that is holding on, that is trying to feel safe, and that knows in some way that me taking this leap and investing at this level is a death to an old self. And so there's this predictable tension and this dance between faith and fear that happens. And I've often said this, that there are two moments in the journey of business growth when your ego is the loudest. The first is when you're right on the edge of taking a big leap, when you're about to launch a new offer, when you're about to quit your 9 to 5, when you're about to up level in some way, raise your standards, whatever it is. Those are the moments. Number one, when your ego is going to be loud, you're going to notice the fear, the parts of you that are freaking out, the parts that are saying, oh my God, we need to go back to the safety of what we know. And then the second part, the second time you're going to experience a lot of fear is right after you've taken a big leap. Because internally you've calibrated to a new level, right? And then your old self, the old story, the part of you that thinks it's you, has to die in order for the new self to be reborn. And that death does not happen easily. This is not like a clean, simple process. This is really, it is a death. And I use that word intentionally. And so what I've noticed in my journey of business growth as I've made investments is there's always this predictable pull back to the safety of what I know. And it happens almost every single time. I can't think of a time actually in my mind right now that I haven't made an investment where like right afterwards, there's been this like, holy crap moment. What did I just do? So I think what's helped me is just like the awareness around that, because if you don't know that, or if you've never experienced that before and you experience it for the first time, there's definitely a feeling of like, oh my God, something's wrong here. And everything in you is going to want to like pull you back to where you were before. And just knowing that pattern and knowing that dynamic, I find in my own life, like this just happened actually like last month because I invested another $18,000 in hiring a mentor. And like for like 2 or 3 days after that, I was like in a dip. And yet that whole time I was in a dip, I was like, oh yeah, this is the dip. This is the part of like the whole story where my mind just goes crazy and like tells me a bunch of stories about how I've made a horrible mistake and I need to go back to the safety of what I knew before because it's afraid of expansion. And so knowing this pattern, knowing this dynamic for me has just made it so much easier because it's like just the awareness of that allows you to step back and say, oh, okay, this is just another one of those moments. Like I don't need to buy into these thoughts. I don't need to take action from these thoughts from a place of fear. I can just notice that, oh yeah, there's this narrative happening inside me, which, you know, is just a normal part of my expansion and growth. And as a matter of fact, if I wasn't experiencing this fear, then I probably wouldn't be claiming my big enough, expansion. And the fact that I am experiencing this fear is a good sign. Love that Pema Chodron quote, fear is a natural reaction to moving closer to the truth. When you are feeling fear, it's because you're on your edge, because you're pushing, you're expanding, you're stepping into a new layer of yourself. And so I look for those moments when I feel that fear. I look for those moments when there's that part of me that's freaking out, the old self or the old story. That's a good sign. And it's a beautiful reframe to just see it as like, oh yeah, the fact that I'm afraid right now is a good thing. It means that I've taken a leap. It means that I've stepped into something so much more more expansive, and so much more good is on the other side. And my job is really just to hold the frequency of who I'm becoming, continue to anchor into that again and again and again, to notice the voices of the fear, the ego, the old self trying to pull me back to the safety of what I know, to say, hey, I see you. I see you there, brother. And thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. And to bring love and compassion to those parts of myself, but not to buy into the story, not to pull the plug, not to pull back to the safety and security and comfort of the old thing, which, let's be honest, is not really safety and security and comfort. It's just the illusion of it. So I hope this helps you today. Next time you make a big investment, hopefully this will remind you that it's okay to freak out a little bit and send you lots of love. Have an awesome day.